Well, a key battleground in the looming Queensland October election will be Townsville, where there is not one but 3 seats which will be hotly contested, with the issue of youth crime prominent in each one. The seats are Townsville, Tharrengower and Muddingborough, which are all centred on the northern city of Townsville and are held by Labor MPs, with the retiring Coralie O'Rourke in Muddingborough, Aaron Harper in Tharrengower and Scott Stewart in Townsville. We will be watching Labor pour resources into all 3 crucial seats as the party tries to head off criticism of being soft on crime. That's after a spat of juvenile offences, which culminated in the tragic deaths last July of 4 teenagers in a stolen car, which resulted in a horrific crash in the early hours of the morning. LNP candidates will all make crime a centrepiece of their campaigns, with Police Officer Glenn Doyle, the Muddingborough candidate, going hard on juvenile justice, and Natalie Marr in Tharrengower highlighting her role as chair of the local Crime Stoppers, and John Hathaway in Townsville with a strong military background pledging to get tough on crime. We will be watching the wildcards like Katter's Australian Party Julianne Wood in Tharrengower, who was behind an extraordinary crime fight back social media campaign called Take Back Townsville, and who has a strong following backed by a KAP pledge to build an isolated juvenile detention centre of Mount Isa if it wins the balance of power. And south of Townsville is the fascinating seat of Whitsunday, held by Jason Costigan since 2012, but the seat is now wide open after Costigan's expulsion from the LNP last year. High-profile former councillor Amanda Cam will contest the seat for the LNP against Costigan, who is now heading his own North Queensland First Party, while the Labor candidate is Angie Kelly. In the southeast, the big-ticket item will be Jackie Trad fighting off the revived Greens in South Brisbane, but we can't forget seats such as Aspley covering outer northern areas. Won by the Liberal Party at 6 of 10 elections, Aspley was a surprise gain by Labor's Bart Mellish in 2017. Mellish now faces the LNP's Amanda Cooper, who represented much of the seat on Brisbane City Council between 2007 and 2019. The suburban seat of Mansfield, covering Mount Gravatt and Currandale, might end up LNP. Mansfield was held by the LNP even in the party's 2015 disaster election, which saw Labor came back in from the cold. It ended up in Labor's hands after a redistribution and was won by Labor's Corinne McMillan in 2017. And we will be watching the LNP candidate in 2020, which is Janet Wishart. So the more senior voters of Pumastone, covering Bribie Island and parts of Caboolture, may be positively influenced by the Labor's government's strong stance on border closures during coronavirus, making the seat an interesting one. The seat can ping-pong between Labor and the LNP and was taken back from Labor in 2017 by the LNP's Simone Wilson, who will retire. The new LNP candidate is Fiona Gask, who is facing Labor's Ali King, who will no doubt try and get the Premier to attend her campaign appearances. The seat of Morani, westward of Mackay, was ruled by the National Party for decades because of its sugar farming base, but turned into a wild card when miners, who now dominate the seat, and backed Labor's Jim Pearce in the 2015 election. Now it's held by One Nation's Stephen Andrew. The LNP's Tracy Newitt will exploit ongoing fallout over the Labor opposition to the Adani mine, while Shane Hamilton for Labor will hope the mining base holds fast to its traditional party.